Sometimes you just got to let it out. Okay, I've had a question from a viewer called Phil who asks about drawing tax-free cash out of his pension. Should he do so? Should he not? That's what we're talking about in this week's 5 Minute Friday. Sound like a plan? So thank you to Phil for this question. Let's stick 5 minutes on the clock down here. Little glance at the monitor there. See that? Very bad form. I should eyeball you, dear viewer. But anyway, the clock's already ticking, so let's answer Phil's question. Now, specifically, Phil wondered about drawing the tax-free cash element out of his pension and perhaps reinvesting it into an ISA. So remember, when you get to retirement, whatever that means, and you've built up a pension fund, 1/4 of it can be taken out as a tax-free cash lump sum to do whatever you want with. Buy a new car, have a nice holiday, make a sizable gift to your favourite financial YouTuber. Don't actually do that, it might cause me some problems. So that facility is there, and it's up to you whether you take advantage of it or not. One thing we need to definitely get out of the way is something called tax-free cash recycling. Now, you might be thinking, because you're smart, well, why don't I take the tax-free cash out of my pension, reinvest it into a pension, and get the tax relief, the uplift from the government? More free money. Everyone's a winner. Well, guess whether you think the revenue might have thought about that or not. Well, of course they have. It's called tax-free cash recycling, and it's an unauthorized payment into your pension. There are certain criteria, like if it's more than £7,500, it's automatically tax-free cash recycling. If it's more than 30% of what you've paid into a pension in previous years, it's tax-free cash recycling. And if it's pre-planned, I love this one, a catch-all little caveat. If it's pre-planned, it's tax-free cash recycling, it's an unauthorized payment into your pension, and you simply won't get the tax relief or any benefit from doing so. So tax-free cash recycling sort of shunted to the side, let's deal with what you might do with that tax-free cash. Remember, Phil specifically is asking about taking it out of your pension and putting it somewhere else, perhaps a little bit more accessible, like an ISA or a bank account. Well, here are some reasons why I think that's, generally speaking, a bad idea. Well, if not a bad idea, then there's reasons not to do it, put it that way. Firstly, taking cash out of a pension and put it into an ISA doesn't really benefit you in terms of taxation. You see, money in an ISA or money in a pension grows exactly the same way. It's free of income tax, free of capital gains tax. There's no difference between the two. So you're no better off shifting money out of a pension and putting it into an ISA. Also, while it stays in the pension, presumably it's growing, and when you do finally decide to take out, because tax-free cash is expressed as a percentage of the total fund, if the total fund has grown, then your tax-free cash portion will have grown too. It's more money you can take out as a tax-free lump sum. Now, money inside a pension also has real benefits when it comes to death. Sorry to mention that word. Now remember, money held in a pension is outside of your estate for inheritance tax purposes. So that's reason enough to keep as much money in there as you can if inheritance tax is likely to be a problem for you. The death benefits on pensions are also super flexible. Really, you can leave your pension fund to your beneficiaries free of tax now, at least on the transfer. It differs a little bit whether you die pre-age 75 or post-age 75. Lots of noisy traffic going past. Sorry about that. Death benefits and inheritance tax savings, all good reasons to leave money inside a pension rather than take your cash out and drop it into an ISA. Finally, if you have significant assets outside a pension, so you don't really need to take the tax-free cash out, you could consider using it as part of a process called phased retirement. Now, I did a video on this back ages ago, 2011, I think, and it's a great video, a little bit out of date in terms of the death benefits that I talk about, but the mechanics of phased retirement still work today. Without going into too much detail here, you basically slice up your pension fund and take it over a period of years, and in doing so, a chunk of your income in each year is free of tax, which makes it an extremely income tax efficient way of drawing an income from your pension, at least in the first few years of doing so. So 3 reasons why you might want to think twice about pulling your tax-free cash out just to invest it in an ISA or something. Firstly, there's no tax benefits in shifting it from a pension into an ISA. They behave much the same while the money is in there. Secondly, death benefits and inheritance tax protection are much better inside a pension than in an ISA, where that money is inside your estate. And thirdly, you might benefit from the facility to phased retire your pension, which is the deep end of the pool when it comes to financial planning, and maybe a topic for another video. Phil, I hope that answers your question, at least in part. Of course, you could just take the money out and blow it on a convertible. Sounds a lot more fun than all the rest of the boring stuff I just talked about, right? Thank you for watching this 5 Minute Friday. Hit subscribe if you haven't already so that my videos end up in your feed on YouTube. Hit the like button because that just kind of helps other people find out about it, and maybe even the little bell which notifies you whenever I upload a new video. But they're basically every Friday, so it's fairly predictable anyway. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next Friday.